Hello. Welcome to another episode of Sphere IT podcast, where we host inspiring people not only from tech industry. I'm Matt from Virtus Lab, and today we will fly very, very high with Kinga. I would say have an orbit around the topic of Polish space industry and Polish developers. In our studio, I warmly welcome Kinga Gruszecka, the president of Polish Space Professionals Association, former director of education at the Polish Space Agency. Nice to see you, Kinga.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you that you accept our invitation, of course. So let me begin from the very old meme saying that Poland cannot into space. I hope that everyone knows that it's not true and we left it far, far in the past. But I wonder if Poland is more like an aspiring challenger now or a recognized brand maybe? What do you think about it?
That we are somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. So the answer is not that obvious. And going back to the meme, I hope after our discussion, everyone will know that Poland definitely can into space because it has very ambitious, very talented people who are devoted to their work. This is what makes space exploration possible. People, talents, their work. And when it comes to Poland as a nation, where we are in our journey to the space exploration, I think we are somewhere in the middle. We are already established, not well established, but still, and we have high ambitions. We need, of course, lots of work, and last year was very turning point for us because we receive a great amount of funding through European Space Agency, which enable us to basically work on very ambitious technology. But it's not all. We need our national goals. I mean, either saying where we are going as a nation, what we want to achieve. Because European Space Agency allows us to develop the technology. We pay their budget and we can receive it through contracts due to the tool that it's called G-Return. But it's only one leg. We need another leg, which is our national program and our national goals. We can do that together with ESA and member states or with any other partner, but we need to know where we are going.
Mm-hmm. Do we have such strategy now?
We do have a Polish space strategy. We don't have any document or any dedicated budget to it. That means we have high, ambitious and very ambitious goal, but no tools to get there. Like, the company might have a strategy. We want to have the highest portion of the market. And then it's not hiring people, it's not giving them funding, it's giving them no tools. So it's just empty words. I feel we are like that about the strategy, about our Polish space strategy, even though I have to say Polish public administration is very hardworking when it comes to making it happen. But not everything depends on, for example, our Ministry of Economic Development and Technology, who is responsible for space policy.
Mm-hmm. It sounds a bit cold, but despite it, in Poland we already had some programs and projects which were impressive. And I'd like to ask you, which one is in your mind now when you are thinking about these impressive projects that was organized, maybe sometimes despite the money and other helpful support from administration or other institutions?
That's a very good question, and I must say it's also a very challenging question. So let me give you a few examples. I'm thinking my first thought when I heard that question was that we have in Poland developers that created an application for farmers that enables them to use satellite imagery close to real-time satellite imagery to understand what's going on with their plants, to use the fertilizers as much as it's needed, not as much as, I don't know, they drop or something. So it enables them to save time, to save money, to be basically better in the field they are. And this application, it's used not only by Polish farmers, but also for it has customers in the US, in South Africa, in France. So I think it's a huge success because we say that we need Earth observation imagery for farmers, and we have a company who is delivering that to so many corporations and people. That's my first thing, first thought. And then I was also thinking that we record this our talk in Krakow. And here in Krakow, there is a company that is creating a network of sensors in different parts of the world. And those sensors are used to track what's going on the orbit of the Earth. That help us understand where is spacecraft, where is space debris, and help us to protect the resources that we have on orbit. And of course, as well, human beings, because we have a large laboratory called International Space Station that needs our protection from the Earth. So it's another great example and technological trend that we observe. Space traffic management and sensors that help us to do so. Finally, we have many examples of scientific mission. Usually, you mentioned that despite of funding, we can receive funding through European Space Agency, for example, although it's not only agency that our companies are cooperating with. We have a few examples of cooperation with JAXA, so Japan's space agency, and NASA, the one that everyone knows. And
yeah, good branding.
Very good branding. So we have companies who sell, for example, mechanism to NASA rovers, because we have this know-how here in Poland. But my favorite mission, and this comes branding in, it's Rosetta mission. It's our human being travel to the comet and landing. One lander landed on the comet and orbiter was following the comet. So you have to synchronize two spacecrafts, which is amazing. And then getting to the comet, wow, that's really impressive. And Polish scientists and Polish engineers work on that. And I mentioned branding because if anyone is interested, Rosetta has own cartoons on YouTube, so you can see it, what was the mission about, how we use data from the mission, and how the life of the orbiter was extended to get as much data as possible to understand the comet.
Mm-hmm. And also, we are going to visit space personally, because it looks that Sławomir Znański will have the chance. But do you think that we make the most of this opportunity now?
That's a very good question. First of all, that's very interesting to see that more and more nations are basically buying time on International Space Station, which somehow is cheaper than signing to the program human exploration. And that it's another very interesting for me to see that more companies are working in the field. It's not only that space agencies offer you a flight and the time on ISS, but it's also private companies that can do that. They have technology, they have know-how, they have people that can make that happen. And we knew that Sławomir is selected to be astronaut reserve. That means European Space Agency opened a call asking Europeans and Canadians to apply to be an astronaut in astronaut class. And he was one of the best among those people, which is amazing. Like, there were a few thousand of application, and you had to have like fully medical checked. You had to be up to the task with your mind and very, very focused. So it's really those candidates are the best among who applied.
Yeah, that's maybe why we were waiting decades for such chance. Yeah.
We were waiting decades. You are right, and we were looking at, for example, NASA, who like opened another call for astronauts, and we were like, "Come on, we are in Europe. We want to have our astronauts as well." But I think it was worth waiting. First of all, those nations who subscribed to the program, human exploration, they had own astronauts, and training takes a long of time. Development of the technology that is to be tested by the astronaut takes time. So the decade in the space sector, I feel it doesn't mean the same as in other sectors. But anyway, if we are taking the most out of it, I don't know yet, because we are still working to take as much as possible. I have a privilege to work with the companies and research institutions that work on the experiments, and I have to say that they are devoted and they want to do the best they can. But we are still in planning phase, even though we know that there is a chance to fly either in the third or fourth quarter of this year. We are still in planning phase, because the mission is not only about testing technology, bringing experiments to ISS, or basically allowing others to examine you when you are an astronaut. You're kind of like a subject in the research. But it's also about communicating to Polish people why we need space exploration. And it's also about inspiring not only young ones, not only students from kindergarten or elementary school, but also those others who can contribute to making the Earth a better place. And we can do that thanks to space technology and space data.
Yeah, and we also need to bring this dream back to humanity, because we forgot a bit about space, and I keep my fingers crossed for maybe not the next space race, but something that really pushes us forward.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because I think that also explains why we waited decades, because we didn't care as citizens, as Polish people. We were focused on so many different matters. Yes. And space, it's, even though everyone likes space, like I work in space sector since 2016, and I often talk with people, random people like taxi driver, what I'm doing, and they're like, whoa, space, I love space, and what do you think about that? And sometimes they have wrong feelings that I can tell them about their future. It's not this case, but anyway, people are interested, they are curious. But at the same time, it doesn't come as a priority when it comes to political life. We have so many other matters to discuss that space is never on the table.
Yeah. So let's try to inspire some companies who might be interested in participating in that sector. How can other Polish experts, developers, startups go into space? Do you have any tips for them?
Yes, but it's such a diverse party that I don't even know how to start. So I would say, if you think that your technology and if you think that you dream about going up, so creating something that helps in exploration, which we called upstream, just look at the European Space Agency tenders. Reach out to Polish Space Agency, to delegates, think about what kind of mission we are working on, and tell us what are your strengths, why you think you can help in exploration. If you think that you are very good with autonomy, remote remote work, like if you think that you can help with managing remote things, like those sensors I mentioned, that means you might be good with space traffic management. That's different area. And then you can become, you can follow also Polish Space Agency, who is a leading party in this field. And finally, we have those who maybe observe obstacles or challenges here on Earth, like walking to work, or might think that there is an information in space data like satellite imagery, navigation, positioning, and know how to connect the information, high stream of data from the orbit to find solution for life's problems and what we observe here in our lives.
Mm-hmm. And how about freelancers?
Another, that depends. Because you can contribute to the companies. There is such a need of talented people in programming, in design, and in many other fields. So you can, for example, check up at Polish Space Agency website that there is a list of Polish companies. And that's not all, because you can work remotely for other companies. Finally, if you are just at the beginning of your career, you can check European Space Agency. They just finished the openings for young graduate trainee program, the one that helps you to start your career, to understand specific needs of the industry and technology. So there are many different options. I would say that, and I say that depends on your dream, because truly we need such a diverse team to make space exploration happen, that there is a place for everyone. For example, if you are in communication, oh gosh, there is so many work for communicators to explain the science, to explain why we are doing so, and everything. And then I even heard that there is work for space anthropologists. And I'm an anthropologist by myself, by trained. So I was like, gosh, that's interesting. But it's also true. Like, we are starting to build our history as a space explorers, that we need people to basically observe that and analyze.
Yeah, and there are some ground-based programs which goals is to check how people react when they are in the base for too long, or how react the human psychology. Yeah, so and anthropology seems very realistic in that topic.
Yes, that's also true. And this example you gave, it's called analog astronauts, and we have 2 bases in Poland that help to understand behaviors, but also you can test technology there. Like, if you put your spacesuit, how you might cooperate, or what might be challenging when it comes to cooperation with technology that you need when we talk about space exploration.
You see, so we have more astronauts than only one at the moment.
That's true.
But analog astronauts, yeah.
We have a few of those, and people from abroad, even from the US, are coming here to Poland to train, to learn what it means to be in close place with a bunch of random people who you've never met, you don't know them, and you basically are for 2 weeks during the mission.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting, and I think how we can convince institutions or companies abroad to cooperate with us. And probably that's the goal of your association as well. So maybe you could tell us something more about it?
Let me start with a simple answer to your first question, how we can convince institution companies, international one, to cooperate. Everything comes to the need. Like, you need specific tool, you need specific talent, you need a specific mechanism. And it's very often in space exploration that you have your company, like you have your partner, and you keep partnering with the same institution, which might not be the best solution. In a space, we are looking for innovation, disruptive technology, and finally we are looking on the smallest thing possible, the cheapest thing possible, because launching something, it's so expensive. Even though prices drops, we still talk about quite expensive venture. And that when it comes to creating some hardware, some spacecraft. Then if we talk about downstream, so using data, making something out of those data, I don't think I need to convince anyone to cooperate with Polish programmers, developers. I think they are really well known abroad. So
yeah, we have evidence that we are good.
Yes. So we are as good in IT and in the space sector, because those are often the same people.
Yeah.
And sometimes even the same companies. Finally, when it comes to my association, Polish Space Professionals Association was created to get people together, to contact people, to exchange knowledge, to start collaboration through connection. We believe that only through exchanging knowledge, communication, we can create something, and we might help bring the humanity to the next step. So when it comes to the association, we can, if anyone is looking for a partner in Poland, we definitely can help. But we are not gathering only people who work in Poland. We have our members, for example, in Portugal, Czech Republic, France, Germany. So we are quite a crowd. And what else I want to mention, because I was talking a lot about upstream, about sending something to the space, a little bit about downstream, so using data from the orbit. And I mentioned a few times European Space Agency, but it's not the only actor, international actor, that it's acting in space sector. We have, for example, USPA, who is helping us to actually use as much as possible data from orbit, so navigation, Earth observation, and USPA has dedicated funding for startups. You ask about freelancers, so probably they should stop by at USPA website, and then we have other European Commission agencies like the Maritime Agency or SATSEN. So those are bodies that have dedicated funding possibilities, but also they have reports, information, how to start your journey in space sector.
Okay, so we were talking about humanity. Now it's time for a question that I was thinking about from the beginning. Is AI present in space at the moment, or we are still waiting for that moment?
No, we are not waiting. It's present, and that's again. I would have to start with like upstream, where, for example, AI is helping to choose best pictures. Like I mentioned about budgets, and if you want to have a picture of so how it used to work. Let me tell you how it used to work. We have a satellite, large satellite, which is taking pictures of the Earth. And they are dropping, for example, every 90 minutes, all those terabytes of imagery. And this time that you need them to connect through antenna, it's costly. And saving those imagery is costly. So AI, it's helping to analyze on orbit what it's worth sending back to the Earth. Because when you have optical satellite and you have a cloud, you cannot use this picture for anything. You basically see something white, which is obviously cloud. So AI is helping here, and that's one of the examples. And again, here on the Earth, it's helping us to create better solution for end users. So AI is present, and I think it's gonna be even more present because we are talking about autonomous rovers, for example. So if you dream about going to space, definitely AI is something that it's gonna be more and more used.
Okay, and what other technology seems the most useful in space at the moment? Because people who are listening to us now might be thinking about data, other technologies, but also have some troubles with choosing their career path. So what would you say?
I'm not gonna say which technology is the future, because I often observe that I was pretty sure that will not happen, and in space sector it's happening. The best example, for example, when I gave a birth to my son 16 months ago, my friend was like, oh, he will be the astronaut. I'm like, no, because Poland is not subscribing to the program. Mm-hmm. And then just a few months later, she's like, you see, he will be an astronaut just like Sławos. And that's why I'm not going to say what's the next. I will tell to the people who are looking for some career advice that keep up your dream. The dots are connecting and you never know how. That's first thing. Then you might want to test your skills and learn something new through projects. If you are still at the university, you might check European Space Agency website for trainings possibilities and for challenges for students. You might check, for example, Polish Space Professionals Association is organizing events at the universities to bring the idea what it means to work in space sector. And then we have a few competitions here in Poland for students and younger people, like high school students, elementary school students. If you are already graduate, you might see the openings for national training program. So it's dedicated internship at European Space Agency. You might see the openings at USPA, SATSEN, and other organization, international one, if you think about going abroad to live and check what it means to live abroad. And finally, there is an internship program created by ARP and Space PL, which is an enterprise association. And every year they invite 10, 11 people to work in Polish companies, to be trained, to learn what it means. And space is not my only career. I started in a definitely different place. I went through IT and get to space, and I think and I believe that we need to test what we like, and we need to test where we feel good. And you might do that through projects or internships, or finally by getting a job, like full-time job in space company.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any book recommendations for them?
I want to recommend a book which is not about space.
Something more inspirational?
The book is Obsession and Passion by Barbara Goldsmith. And it says it's about Maria Curie-Skłodowska, but for me it's about diversity. Without diversity, and the book shows that perfectly, neurodiversity make the Maria Curie-Skłodowska adventure possible. Her husband probably was dyslexic, and the book shows how great minds are cooperating despite of differences. and in space sector, but then I believe it's something that can be used in every other sector. Diversity is very important. We need diverse background. We need diverse people to find the best solution possible. Otherwise, it's wasting talents. So that's my recommendation.
Mm-hmm. This is the one that you are reading now, or you are reading something different at the moment?
I'm reading Jacek Denal at the moment, something to have a break for my brain. So no, it's not the one that I'm reading right
It's
now.
not your Bible, yeah?
No. When it comes to my Bible, it's not very popular in Poland. Book by Ayn Rand called Atlas Shrugged. Again, highly recommended.
Okay,
but
so
not about space.
Yeah, but we have 3 recommendations worth try. So I think that this is the lecture for a few evenings, probably.
Definitely.
Kinga, thank you for the talk.
Thank you for having me and for the great questions. I feel challenged, and I hope our listeners will learn something useful for them.
I didn't try to be challenging, but I learned a lot about space. So thank you again. And I hope we've encouraged many experts, IT experts, to be part of this space industry. And also, I hope that my company will also take part in it in the future. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel. There will be more cool episodes. So I hope you will like them too. Thank you.